with Maurizio Martinovich, aka Ritz. Today we're going to be recapping the close win against Wake Forest, and then we're going to preview the upcoming game against UNC. But first, some highlights from Wake Forest.
Eric, let me tell you. So, close game is like understatement of March so far, and we're only a week into March because this thing was freaking crazy. Duke
So done.
won the last matchup at Wake earlier this season by 22 points, right? Going away, and we thought we would see more of the same here. But oh my goodness, were we wrong about that one. Anyway, Cameron Indoor Stadium, the setting of our last and final home game on senior night. Antonio getting the start and the tip-off honors, but it's going to be the freshman, Tre, that gets us started. Tre doing Tre things, pikes the pocket of Childers, getting this one up ahead to RJ Barrett, who's going to get the and one and put Duke up on the board. Very nice. And then Antonio is going to get the block. Beautiful to see this on senior night from Antonio. And then Tre is going to miss here, but Marquise, like a hawk, flying in there from the right side, is going to get this. And then RJ, he's going to pass out. RJ's going to try to get in here, and averting disaster, getting it out to Jack. Goldwire's going to drive, kick, extra pass, and Jack White buckets, ladies and gentlemen, extending the streak to 4 straight threes from where he left off. But he's not done, because he's going to go again. Cha-ching! The Royal Bank of Australia is open after hours, and he's looking at the bench saying, "No worries, mate, I'm Australian. I got this the whole way." Woo! All right, now RJ driving in the lane, trying to get this in, and go Tre with a beautiful cut in between the Forest for Wake Forest. Duke is going to go into the locker room up by 1, and then we're going to come out of the locker room in the second half, and it's still going to be a close game. Cam's going to try to drive. Oh my gosh, disaster! But no, Tre Jones is in a good spot, and Tre's going to put us up for this one. Duke is up 3. All right, time for the Duke run. Here we go. But wait, what? What is this? 3 minutes later, Duke is down 10? Are you kidding me? Wake up, Blue Devils. And here we go. Tre Jones is going to get us started, keying off the comeback with a three-pointer here and get us going. All right, here we go. Duke run, momentum, a little bit to go. RJ, now he's going to drive into the lane. Take 3, Wake Forest defenders with him. Says, "I don't care. I'm going to score." Duke down by 5 at this point. 2 freebies by RJ makes it Duke down by 3. He's going to find AOC in the corner. AOC's going to drive strong to the lane, get his own rebound, and finish here. Woo! All right, we're good. Everybody take a deep breath, because we're going to make it. Let's take another look here, O'Connell. All right, Crazies are finally breathing easy. Duke's got some momentum. Crazies, you're up. Let's go. Here we go. Woo! All right, we're feeling good. People are dancing in Cameron. Duke's got some momentum. We're about to go on a run, right? Second half run. Everything's going to be great. RJ's going to find here Cam in transition. Cam's going to put it in for 3 points. Finally, the first shot Cam makes with 11:40 to go in the second. Duke getting some momentum. Here we go. We're going to go on a run, right? Run, right? No. 8 minutes to go, 56. RJ's going to find. He's going to go left. He's going to put this high off the glass. All right, Duke, where's the run? Where it's coming. It's coming. I promise you it's coming. Oh, no, but Wake now up 2. Javin's going to pick. Javin's going to roll. Javin's going to score. Javin, okay, Duke tied. 4 minutes to go. Here's the run. It's coming. No, there's no run. Where is it? Nice extra pass by Goldwire. Alex O'Connell for 3. Puts us up big time. Great shot by Alex. Duke by 3 at this point. Now, finally, we're going to bury the Demon Deacons, right? No, these guys won't go 6 feet under. RJ's going to find a beautiful spin here to get his Wake Forest defender out of the way. He's going to go left, and Duke is by 5 with 1:30 to go. We're good, right? Okay, Duke's going to win this thing. Duke's going to win this thing, but no, only 1 point with 20 seconds to go. My God, these guys have more lives than a damn cat. What is going on? RJ's going to go left, and he's going to go, no, he's going to go with his right hand. What a switch with the hands in the air. Beautiful. And now we're done. But no, Wake Forest, 7 seconds to go. We're only down by 1. There's no way they're going to get this shot off. Oh my God, they're going to get this shot off. Are you kidding? Oh, they get and the rebound, and what? No, it's oh my God, it doesn't go. Holy moly, are you kidding? Duke survives. Take another look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea whether this is like the telepathy of Coach K or the ghost of Eddie Cameron. Oh, the power of K compels you. The power of K compels you. The exorcism at the end. Unbelievable. I mean, even the Coriolis effect, the rotation of the earth could get that one to go. Eric, this is the type of game that as a Duke fan, you lose years of your life. I mean, go get the blood pressure meter. What this is, Wake, you're 4-11, and we win by 1.
Yeah, you got to have good cardio to be a crazy. That's for sure. You know, last episode, uh, last episode I was straight up asked, like, was this a trap game? And I said, yeah, this is the perfect trap week, unless we're playing Wake Forest this year. Favored by 26 and a half points at the start of the game. I, based on the rest of their season, I just didn't see it. You could quote me as saying I thought it would be another 20 to 30 point win. Uh, that was not the case. I think I was texting you like during the game, 10
Yep,
minutes in, and I could, you started getting that sense. I believe I texted that my trap game Spidey sense was tingling.
that's exactly what
Um,
you texted me, and I said, no, 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 I'm not worried. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, all right, I'm worried.
yeah, it was like a complete role reversal from our normal repertoire. But yeah, that was. I mean, I don't know. You're right. They just like didn't back down. We kept giving them opportunities to sneak back in this game. I mean, Childress had a great game. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was not great. We finally started to figure it out at the end, but then I mean, just making like unforced errors. I mean, I
Yep.
can't believe they had a shot with 7.4 seconds left. That
That
game
they
should have
shouldn't
been.
have. That they shouldn't have had that shot. That was,
Yeah,
as yeah.
it should have been ice. I've never seen a breakdown like that, a mental breakdown like that from Duke. I mean, like that's crazy.
The I mean, there were mental errors sort of across the game. Like Cam Reddish with 3 offensive fouls in this game. I mean, by the time you get the third one, son. Okay, so just to make sure all our viewers are with us here. Yes, this is a pro Duke like show. We're totally Duke biased, but like welcome to the new segment called Devil's Advocate. All right? Because this is time for some real talk here. Um by the third time you get this offensive foul, I'm like, "Son, just pull up and take it, Jay." I, like what's going on here? Yes, the coaching staff has told them you need to be more aggressive. Go like hunt your shot, get in the lane. But like you're a shooter, man. You're a great shooter. Just pull up and take a J mid in the lane.
Yeah, or just even like a little, floater. I don't know. I just feel like after two times, I'd probably get tired of just running into a guy.
Yeah,
But
true. So the
I
other one
mean,
also RJ 7 turnovers. Take
yeah,
the good
I
with the
mean,
bad, but
you know, RJ set a scoring record as a Duke freshman in this game, but
yes,
he did not. I mean, he had a ton of points, but he also left a lot to be desired.
free
I mean,
throws.
he shot atrociously from the free throw line
Oh my God, free
and
throws.
the 3 point and from behind the arc. Um,
Eric,
I mean, yeah,
last I checked, okay, we shot 61.5% from the free throw line. So granted, like we wouldn't do this with like field goal percentage or 3 point percentage because you're not supposed to shoot like in the 80s. But you and I both went to Duke, so 61 and a half. If you got that on a test, what is that?
well, it depends if it's a math course, and some of those, when there's a
No
curve,
curve, no curve.
yeah, that's a fail right there. I
That's a
mean,
fail. That's a
at
fail.
even at your average local high school, like a public school in Charlotte, like I went to, you would be running a lot of sprints if you shot 61%.
That is that is a fail. Also, so
But
yeah,
I will say, I mean, the reason that's terrible, I mean, I think when we went up by three after the Alex Connell 3 pointer, and then like we
yep.
got a stop and we were at about like the 2 minute mark. I mean, like that's the point at which like in years past, like that's a point at which you should be able to ice a game. I mean, you've kind of forced them to,
Yeah.
you're basically either getting an wide open shot or you're making them have to foul you, and then you hit free throws and close out the game. I mean, the fact that it's now we have to play to the last second, like being up by 3 or 4 is not enough, even with 2 minutes left in the game.
Both teams missing point blank shots from Wake Forest. So we said this before we came on the air. We've done a few games now, but each one has been very different. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like we had a close game up at Syracuse, but both teams played a quality game at
Mhm.
Syracuse. I don't know if the quality was really here this time around, although our Blue Devils did manage to pull it out late. Otherwise, they were kind of playing down to the level of Wake.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that was the case. I mean, yeah, I mean, Wake Forest also has some chances to blow this thing open down the
Yeah.
stretch, and I mean, they missed. I mean, they had a couple of like, I think they airballed like a three one time, and just like, I mean, nothing, and just coming away with like no points. I mean, yeah, I mean that last shot for them, I'm actually like surprised that they, that they didn't score that. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's the
Um,
kind of thing that happens when you're having a 4-11 season.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something else. But on a night like tonight, it was actually surprising, because I mean, like Childers had a great game. I mean, they had another guy that easily had more than he was
Brown.
in double digits. Brown, yeah,
Yep.
21 points, 10 rebounds. I mean,
Unbelievable.
usually the sign of one of these games that we always talk about when someone beats us is there's one player who kind of has like a career night or a season high night.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
usually that shows up a little more evidently like right off the back, but this time it was kind of dispersed just between two guys. But you know
Exactly. And that's why when you texted me, oh, is it like the Spidey sense? I was like, no, 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 because there isn't that one guy that's going off. Lo and behold, it happened to be two that were going
yeah,
off.
yeah, there was no canary in the coal mine,
Right.
but there was like but there was two of them.
Well, divine intervention saves us. All right. So we, let's move on slightly to let's break it down because there's a couple plays here that
Yeah,
we want to talk about and dive into. The first play we want to talk about is something that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about yet this season, but it's something that we hear a lot about when you talk about a Duke offense, and that's called motion offense. So a lot of teams in college will like run sets and the coaches will call them out on the sidelines. But Duke, because we just have athletes. All right, we got athletes and a lot of positionless players. Coach lets them just play. So we want to break down, and he mentioned this specifically in his quotes after the game. He said, when we got down 10, we stopped calling sets and we just let them go. So here's one of the plays. Walk us through this here, Eric.
yeah. So this is going to end up leading to that Trey Jones three. So we start out with Cam, who has the ball here, and it's going to be a quick swing over to Alex O'Connell, and then Alex O'Connell is going to swing it down to Trey. But what's really happening is the floor is spread out. That's usually how you can kind of tell when a motion offense is starting. I think we're running kind of like a four out, one in to start, with Jav being kind of the guy that's in the interior. So a lot of the classic moves you'll see in a motion offense is, I mean, there's a lot of screens, a lot of pick and rolls. There'll be off ball screens, and then there's just a lot of like cuts, like long sweeping cuts, like baseline cuts, cutting from the wing down to a corner, that kind of stuff. And usually, like if a guy cuts to you, you got to be sliding somewhere else. There's just kind of like depending on what type of motion offense your coach like wants, there'll be like preference to certain types of those moves. So we kind of seem to be running one that has kind of like the sweeping cuts and guys floating to the corners, and usually our big man setting ball screens on RJ Barrett or Cam Reddish a lot. So that's what happens here. RJ comes up and sets a screen at the top of the key.
Yep,
Both
Javin.
Javin, sorry, yeah. Yeah, so that's what's going on right now there. Both Wake defenders decide to hang and focus on Cam Reddish because they don't want him to come off the screen and potentially get an easy three, which is why Jav is gonna do the obvious roll down the lane into the open space. Um, and but because there's two defenders, the next open option is an actually
Yeah.
nice pass to that defender, to
So this
AOC.
he's gonna move over here,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna get the pass.
Yeah. I mean, and I think in this particular situation, Cam was already kind of thinking he was going to pass to Alex O'Connell because he didn't really even give Jav a chance to complete the role. But it's a nice kick. AOC knows it's coming. I mean, he can see his defender. He knows there's two other guys. He knows there's a guy in the middle of the paint because that guy hasn't moved since Jav came up to set the screen. Um, and the reason these motion offenses are successful is because like there's a lot of team chemistry. Guys are aware of where their teammates are. Even though Alex Connell is staring dead at Cam, he knows Trey is in that corner,
Look how much
and that's
space
why.
too.
He's what 10 feet,
Oh
10
yeah.
12 feet from the closest defender. So that's why this is an automatic swing.
Look at it. Beautiful, beautiful, right? Like he just gets. He's not even looking to shoot. He knows exactly this is going out, and Childress is too late. Yeah. So you have a play that starts here. You're gonna have Javin. as we said, rolling down.
Hmm.
Tre's going to come up, and then this thing's just going to roll. So, but this isn't a set or anything. So it's not like a called play. They just know this is how they want to do it. They're just letting them
Yeah.
play at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, kind of, once Jav comes sets that screen, like the next obvious thing you look, okay, after a screen, like Cam is like, okay, I either have a drive or a shot off this screen. If that's not there, I'm looking for the dump, because Jav is gonna roll. Like that's like as soon as Jav comes to screen, that's like the next two options. Everyone else is lets that happen, and then you start reacting. So it's kind of like a almost like a nuclear reaction. Like one thing happens that causes like another thing to happen, and everyone just starts moving. And the important thing is everyone has to be moving. And guys, if there's nowhere for you to cut, you drift to the open space on the floor. So it's always finding open space, cutting through open space, and moving. That's why it's called the motion
That's what it's
offense.
called. Nice. All right, sweet. So the next, and then yes, this one sparks the 10-point run. And so the next one we want to talk about is actually sort of the final play, Duke's final offensive play. So we got that's the result of the play, but we have this unique opportunity because
Yeah.
ESPN decided to point the camera right at the clipboard, which I have issues with.
It's
But
a great shot. It's a little dangerous because what if he just wrote like was joking? It was just like, get your shit together, guys, and like wrote something like,
But tell
um,
us what the so let's talk about the theory of this play and then we'll go back and look at the play again to see how it was actually executed.
right. So as coach kind of draws us up, he has got. I mean, this is just kind of like a classic inbounds play setup. A lot of coaches just like start with this, and then there's a ton of stuff you can just do off of this. It's just a way to have guys start out. So he's going to have RJ taking the ball out, which is kind of indicated by the little black squiggly out of bounds. Then he just kind of has the guys in like a box formation around the lane. There's just a lot you can do out of this. A lot of times teams will actually have all of like their side inbounds plays based out of the same starting formation, just so
Mm-hmm.
it confuses defenses because you'll be in the same starting formation, but depending on like what play you call, different things happen. Just so that by being in your starting formation, you're not giving away the play immediately.
Got it.
Um, yeah, so Coach K basically he's gonna draw this great squiggle
All
from
right, so
RJ to
let's
kind of
roll it.
curl.
Yep. So here we go.
Yeah, so he's drawn everyone else's initial move, which is just I think it's Jav, just staying or Bolden just staying in place. Basically, RJ's he wants him to inbound the ball to him as kind of the entry pass, and then it's basically everyone kind of like there's like two cuts to like confuse in like diagonal
Oh,
directions. Alex O'Connell to pop to the corner, which is kind of the upper part of that clipboard. But basically, the other two guys on the block are
here's
just going to cut in
Alex.
opposite directions. Yeah, that's Alex. I think it's like
This
a little
is
confusing what.
Javin. That's Cam.
Yeah, I almost because they kind of missed the glick there. Like I almost couldn't tell if they wanted Alex to like go and set a screen up top or to like just whichever direction he wanted to go. Like I don't know, it was kind of hard to tell. But
Oh, you're saying
the
this is like an option route.
yeah,
Okay.
it was just kind of like see whatever. But I mean the next what he actually wants the first score attempt to be is like very obvious by this next
But
this
okay,
next
he wants
squiggle,
Javin to the rim here.
which is yeah, no, that's RJ. Take the ball
RJ,
out.
that's what I meant. Yes.
That's an RJ drive, which is the emphasis on the squiggle, and he probably was just like saying something emphatic. You can see Coach K's fired up and his hands shaking a little bit. He's probably just like RJ score that thing and slam that shit home. Um, but and their first when we actually come out and execute
All
this,
right, so
which we
here we go.
go
So
through.
we're gonna flip. So
Yeah,
here we go. So here's what it looks like. So
yeah.
let me
So
roll this
they're
back
so
for a
they're
sec. All right. So here we go. So here's our four guys
yeah. So we're good here.
inbounding.
Trey, Cam, and Jav and Alex all do what the play said to start.
All right.
Jav comes up just to get the ball. Wake Forest is like, yeah, Jav, you can catch that pass out there. Um, Trey Jones is cutting down to the corner, trying to draw that defender away. Cam comes up, they kind of see a switch that can cause an issue with like Wake having to communicate like who to cover who, can create a switch situation.
You're saying down here between these two
Right,
guys. Okay.
right.
All right. Let's roll this forward here. All
So
right. And now,
Jav gives it up, and so at this point we have executed the play that coach has drawn up.
and this it's got to
Albeit,
look pretty good because you got Childress on RJ. There's
yeah,
like 6 inches worth of height difference here.
yeah. Although at Coach K's point, I think maybe he wanted Jav to kind of catch that pass a little like closer between the elbow and the arc, kind of more in that region, so that it could potentially be like a handoff screen for
Mm.
RJ to then just drive on. Um, and because RJ kind of gets it, and he's in position to attack, which eventually does, but
But he
it takes
doesn't
him a little bit,
drive.
and he backs all the way back out and gets a
Right.
second screen. So we didn't follow the initial intention, but then we react well. We're still keeping the floor excellently spread. Everyone's finding the open space. Jav comes at that second screen to kind of start the motion, because at that point you're kind of back in the motion offense. Like it's not the play anymore. Like that look was there. Maybe RJ just didn't feel like he had an extra step coming around that
Because the
handoff.
play, there's your squiggly line. It
Yeah,
didn't quite work.
yeah. It should have happened like right after he got the hand of the ball from Jav, but it
Right.
just wasn't quite there. But at this point, this is the motion offense, super spread. There's a ton of room, and obviously the weak point is the middle right here, which
And
he
yeah,
scores on two guys over.
and he gets it to go. So other question here: did the announcer at this point said, "Look out, because Wake is in a zone"? Was the play that Coach drew up designed to go against man? And is that one of the reasons why it sort of like broke down?
Run it one more time. Let me see their defense.
Yeah, yeah. So we're thinking that like the thinking because they've been playing man all game, right? So like, but they actually come out here in
I'm trying to see how much they move, because I guess so sometimes, like, depending on how your offense, but yeah, this kind
a
of looks
one
like it
two
could be
two.
like, yeah, 1-2-2, 3-2, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I was trying to yeah, they are, because the guys don't really switch.
yeah. So I
I
think
mean, yeah,
it
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, if,
oh, we lost
like
it.
you
Yeah, we lost you there for
oh,
a sec, but you're back. You're good.
sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, you can still screen a zone, which is why I think when he wanted him to hand it off to Jav, because
Yep,
that's going to draw those top two guys over there. Um, you can still screen that and create enough of an opening to drive. And and then if anything, if he turns that corner fast enough around that initial handoff where Jav should have probably set a better screen, um, the only other option is for the other top guy on the zone to have to commit to cut off that drive. At which point you have Cam or Alex open for threes, which is why they're on that side and Tre was on the weak side.
got it. All right, cool. So there we go. There's our Wake Forest game. We're gonna we're gonna bury that one 6 feet under. In the spirit of March, survive in advance.
Yep.
That's it. Survive in
Survive and
advance.
forget.
Yeah, move on. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring back our buddy Justin, and he is on the phone with us because it's been a few days now since we checked in with him, and we had a bit of an issue. Oh, Monty, nice Blue Devil in the chat. Way to go! The new emotes are live. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the Blue Devils in the chat. Um, we wanted to check in with Justin on both Zion and Tre because Tre actually left this game with a bit of like everybody hold their breath and we're like, oh no, here we go again, kind of thing. So Justin, you there?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks
Aw-
for having me on, guys.
Awesome. So Justin, it's been about 10 days since we last spoke. We've heard a lot about Zion. Zion's making progress. He's looking good. He's doing some basketball practicing things. Um, Unsure in the post-game comments if he will play Saturday. But first, I wanted to give you props because last time you said something to the effect that Zion is such a unique athlete that it's very that you can't rush him back because he has like his mind and his body need to be in sync. And coach after the Miami game basically said to the effect, you can't put him, Zion, out there with less than 100% because that's not what his body is used to. So bravo, sir, because you had it right.
Thank you. Thank you.
But since the last time we spoke, we've learned more about Zion's injury. It is a grade 1 MCL. We didn't know exactly which ligament it was last time.
hmm
So, what do you expect Zion to be practicing at this point? Where should he be timetable wise?
He is exactly where I personally would expect him to be with this injury. I don't expect uh, any faster than he currently is going or any slower. So he is right on target with where someone with this injury, especially such a high level athlete as himself, would be in terms of his recovery. And I know they had mentioned in their rehab process, they have a 4-phase rehab process, and he's currently in phase 4. And so how long that takes, of course, is obviously dependent upon how mentally and physically responds to all the tasks that they're going to have him do, both in the weight room, in the training room, and then in practice.
Got it. Eric, you had a question on
Yeah,
Zion.
yeah. Can you talk a little bit about like the progression of like bringing a player like that, kind of back up to game shape? I know we talk about the physical part of it, but you just touched on like the mental aspect. Like, do we expect like confidence issues or anything like that?
Of course, every athlete's going to respond a little bit differently. I would hope that that someone like Zion, someone who's always brimming with confidence, and the guy always has a smile on his face because he just loves playing basketball so much and he's had so much fun, that once he gets back onto the court in a game situation, there it's going to be like he didn't even miss a game or miss a step at all. But there always is that little small piece where it may take 5, 10, maybe even a half of basketball against the true for him to really get back into his rhythm. So it's normal for him to have a couple bumps in the first few minutes he's back into the game. And after that, someone like Zion, I think he'll be able to come out of it pretty.
Yeah, so let's take your Duke fan hat off for a second, and with
Mm-hmm.
the doctor here, physical therapy doctor, we have a game on Saturday, but if you held him out, you'd give him another 10, be ready to go for the ACC, another 10 days essentially, be ready to go for the ACC tournament. What would you
Mm-hmm.
think happens here?
My best guess is they're going to use that 10 days to their advantage, going into such a difficult physical game with high emotion. That's not necessarily the atmosphere you'd want to bring back an athlete to after having that type of injury, unless, and this is all the unless the medical staff, Coach K, Zion, and let's toss his family in there because it's a team decision across the. They all feel he is ready. If they all are in agreement about that, you never know. You could see him out there for depending upon a lot of different factors. But I have a feeling they're going to use these additional days to their advantage, and then you'll see him get rolled out in the ACC championship game
Yeah,
or in the ACC.
The tournament. Yeah. All right.
yeah, and
So go ahead, Eric.
I think that's great that we have the kind of program that I think it's been evidenced in the way they've handled injuries in the past that like we have a program
Yeah.
that actually does that and cares enough to do all that. Um, if I think like, if he doesn't come back versus UNC, that's like okay because we also might see them again in the ACC tournament. And
That's
then
true.
I mostly feel bad for Zion because
Mm-hmm.
part of being a Duke player is that you get that chance to like beat UNC.
Yeah.
At some point and play against them like that.
GTHC in the chat, please, ladies and gentlemen. GTHC.
That's one of like the main one of the reasons to come and like one of the things they have to look forward to. I mean, so I just want to hope he gets like one game against them, and if it's in the AC tournament like that's totally fine. I think it would be even better to beat him in that.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to switch gears real quick. I want to bring in this one from last night. Scary moment here for Tre Jones when it looks like he bangs knees here with number 35 from Wake Forest. Who is this guy? Mr. Smart. Not being too smart standing in front of our player. Thank you very much. And Tre Jones would actually leave the game for about 4 minutes. He would return. But Justin, walk us what actually happens here because I think we think it's his knee, but after the game they say it's actually not.
So looking at that, what's great about it is the leg that was injured, his right side was actually off the ground, and that puts your knee in such a better position because what we found with Zion, his foot was planted which then when he twisted, that's when you can have some issues with the ligaments and the passion. Those are the bigger, more serious. Now with Tre, as he was driving, and what was that guy, Smart, got, you basically saw both of their thighs smacked into each other, but it was right above Tre's, right where
Luckily.
the quad turned into, right where the quadricep muscle, so your big thigh muscle, turns into the quad tendon. And so imagine that he just took a very big blunt trauma right and almost created a giant bruise or a Charlie horse, would be my best guess based on the mechanism there.
Eric, you had a question on this one too.
Yeah, so he actually finished his free throws out on this possession because obviously that was a foul. But then they whisked him off to the locker room. Can you tell us like what happens, like kind of like behind the scenes, like what kind of they checks or tests they run him through?
Oh, absolutely. So even as you saw him walk off, it was very difficult for him to bend and straighten his knee. He was almost kind of keeping it in the same position as he was limping. And that's just because of that trauma right there makes it very difficult for him to straighten and bend the knee. It ends up being a little painful. So once he goes into the back, into the locker room and into they're running him. First, they're checking his range of motion, his ability to bend and straighten. They're making sure that all the ligaments are intact, the tendons are, that there was no ruptures of anything. And then very likely they probably put either some ice or did some treatment right then and there to help loosen, and then ran him through more functional tests to see his ability to squat on one leg, bounce, hop, jump, cut side to side, to make sure that they felt comfortable and Tre felt comfortable and confident that he could into the game, which it only took about, because again, everything from the more serious injury aspect, which just wasn't there, unlike Zion.
Got it. Yeah, and so we were quite fortunate because this one could have ended poorly. But it looks like Tre will be fine. So is he just like basically no practice from now till Saturday, and we're rest and sleep and ice it, and we're good?
He's probably getting a decent amount of rest and ice right now. Probably getting daily treatment to make sure that his range of motion and his muscle coordination is still there. He's probably practicing as tolerated. They may have held him out a day or two, would be my best guess. Just to sometimes I would imagine with a hit that hard, there's probably some bruising in the area and some swelling. Doing workouts and running and jumping just a little bit. So I don't expect any lingering issues come Saturday. And if we do notice that he's a little bit slow on his feet, that's probably the reason why, and that would just need a little bit more time.
Got it. All right, Justin. Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you coming on and dropping the knowledge for us. Awesome as always.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Have a good night. And you got a shout out in chat, by the way. Somebody asking, where did this guy even get his DPT? And I'm not sure. I think it's someplace in North Carolina, but I think he went to school for basketball instead of physical therapy. So I don't,
Yeah, pretty much just basketball.
Just basketball.
The physical therapy was just on the back burners as I was focusing on my basketball.
On the side. All right, man. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So now we have the moment we have all been waiting for. It is the rematch. Probably not as hyped because we may not get Zion, but nonetheless, the best rivalry in all of sports. Duke, North Carolina in the mini. Those Tar Holes from 9 miles down. 15501. They got us last time. UNC actually clicking on all cylinders, playing better than ever. Let's be fair. Let's call it how it is. Coming off a road romp at BC. Basically skeet shooting Eagles in Boston.
Hey, It's always better when they're having a great season because it makes it that much better when we beat them.
That is true. This is a top 5 matchup. And Eric, your keys to the game.
Yeah, so I mean, this one's definitely gonna be we're gonna have to stop Luke May. He is just like UNC's on a roll right now. He is on a roll. He is one of three seniors. It's going to be their senior night. So there's a lot of emotion behind that. There's going to be a lot of reason for him to play hard on his home court. Um, he is. I mean, he's just been having a great season, especially since Zion went down. His last game, he actually got 20 rebounds, which like I think they said that that hadn't happened at UNC in forever. So he's going to be tough to stop inside. Last game he was covered and guarded a lot by Jav or Jack White. Marquise Bolden did not play that well defensively
Mm,
against him, and Coach K actually pulled Bolden on the bench because he just wasn't getting it done defensively. Bolden has since actually responded. The last couple games he's been playing great defense down and down low. So I think that'll be a little bit better. I think Bolden's kind of back and ready to battle him again. And Bolden has also been involved more offensively, so that could
yep.
help us a lot. So I think we definitely got to stop it from kind of having like a Mayday going off here. Um,
Amazing.
yeah. Um, but I mean that's gonna be hard to stop. There's gonna be a lot behind it. But I mean he definitely he knocks down open shots. He knocks down little short baseline jumpers. He'll score when you give him an open shot from four
Yep.
feet or a layup away. Like he's good enough to take advantage of the opportunities that we leave him open. Um, so I mean I think restricting that the games when UNC loses, if you look at it, it's games when he scores less than like 12 points. And that it's not because he is missing shots or something. It's because whatever the other team is doing defensively is restricting him enough, and that kind of ends up messing up their whole team. It's just kind of a thing I noticed. But unfortunately, he's been having more than that most games, and that's why they've been on a tear. Um, we also have they also have Kobe White, who has also been doing great lately. Still a great 3-point shooter. Trey Jones did an excellent job on him in the first matchup. So hopefully we could do that again. Hopefully he's okay after that kind of injury scare and is able to put in that effort. But I mean, I think that's two of the biggest things. And then it's just as long as we figure out the kind of our motion offense and figuring out kind of learn from this Wake Forest game
Mm.
kind of have to put it all back together again. If it's similar to like Miami, I think we kind of have more of a chance here. I mean, I think it's still kind of, I didn't check what the latest like line on the game is, but I think it's still like pretty close.
Yeah, so it's a great call out about Trey. So Trey Jones played a great game against Kobe White, only 9 points, right? But the difference was that Luke May had a field day because he doesn't have to defend Zion, and when as a defense. If you don't have to defend, he's not going to get in foul trouble. He doesn't have to work as hard, and then he's going to find, as you said, he's just going to find the easy shots. However, the big difference in this game is that we know we may not have Zion. Whereas in the
Mhm.
last one, we were planning the game as if we did. Um, so I'm hoping to see at least a bit of a change there. Maybe Cam on Luke May. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, when he's kind of floating around, I think if Cam can like deny the ball, it would helpful. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, Luke May is just kind of heavy for Cam, I think. So you can kind of push him around a little bit more. But Cam played some good post defense against Wake Forest. I mean, I think it could be. I think it's going to be somebody has to guard him, and then there's going to have to be solid help defense, and then we have to do a great job of rotating because Luke May is good enough to recognize when he's kind of getting doubled down or something in the post, and he'll look to like for the kick out to the perimeter. So as long as we are able to rotate after we have help defense and close out to cut down on any kind of like cross court passes for 3-pointers or something like that. I
Yep.
think that's just the way. I mean, we're gonna have to be all over the floor, just running around. So
Our
um,
boys can do it. We know, like a couple of years ago, we like went into Carolina and we did it was like a Grayson Allen team. We didn't think with Matt Jones, Grayson Allen, we didn't think we had a shot. We pulled off the upset, basically,
Yeah,
and split
and
the
to,
season.
to some extent, I actually think there's a little bit less pressure on this game. I mean,
Yep.
like I know it's like, oh, there's pressure because they beat us once, so we have to beat them again because there's just kind of this natural like maintain the balance pressure, but also this one almost has like versus the first game when it was like, like I thought we had a really good chance of beating them pretty easy. With Zion, well, not pretty easy, but like, I felt pretty confident about it. But it was also a heavyweight matchup. This one kind of has a little bit lesser feel of that, but I mean, I think we still, even without Zion, have the ability to play up to that level, and well enough to beat them. It just kind of is going to come down to who shows up and who puts in the effort. I mean,
Yep. All right, so since we're so biased about this and we're obviously going to pick Duke to win, we couldn't just like leave it at that. So we're introducing a new segment. It's called Puppy Picks. Okay, and we had some help with this. So we're going to have Ollie and we're going to have our pup here, our rather large pup actually. Ollie is going to help us pick the yes, he is going to. Hold on. One sec. We are going to get. Ollie is coming, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get Ollie. All right, here we go. All right, now I think we're going to get Ollie. Yes, we have Ollie. Ollie is going to help us pick the Duke UNC matchup. All right, let's roll the clip. Let's see how it turns out.
Who would you prefer pup sits you for a weekend? Jack White or Luke May? Ollie? Okay, choose. Nope, that's me. No, go. Okay. And he chose Jack White. Immediately to Jack White. There you have it. The dogs have spoken. They do not want UNC players to pup sit them. They only prefer Duke basketball players to pup sit them.
True story.
Which means they are pulling
Such a
for
good
the
boy.
Dukies this Saturday against the Tar Heels.
and Ollie's a good boy too. Look at Jack White. Oh,
Look at that. Look at that. So the pups have spoken. Duke is going to win this thing. All right, and we'll be back on Monday to recap it and look ahead to the ACC tournament. Can I get a GTHC in chat and some of the Blue Devil emotes for those of you that have them? Ladies and gentlemen, Eric, thank you for that. Was our breakdown, and we will see you back here on Monday after the win. And GTHC, go to Hell Carolina.
let's go Duke.